Hey everyone, and welcome to Islam Vids. Today, we're going to answer 10 common questions that non-Muslims have about Islam. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Another thing about Islam? But wait, before you change the channel, let me tell you something. We're going to talk about important things here, things that make headlines, things that divide people, things we talk about often but rarely with nuance. The goal? To break down stereotypes and better understand this religion practiced by more than 2 billion people worldwide. It's like trying to understand TikTok without ever having installed it. You can try, but you're going to miss out on essential information. So stick with me, we're going to break it all down. Let's go. Okay, first question, and a big one. Why do Muslims pray 5 times a day? Seriously, 5 times? It might seem like a lot, especially if you're not familiar with this practice. But there's a deep and meaningful reason behind this frequency. It's like spiritually recharging your phone every few hours. Imagine, your soul needs this regular recharge to stay connected and full of energy. Except instead of a portable charger, we prostrate on a mat. This symbolic gesture, this prostration, is a way of expressing humility and devotion. These 5 daily prayers, called salat, are much more than simple rituals. They are moments of pause, reflection, and connection with the divine. Imagine breaks in your day, like when you scroll Instagram for 10 minutes every hour, except here, you're connecting to something bigger than yourself. It's a way to disconnect from the material world and reconnect with the spiritual. A moment to refocus, reflect, and remember the importance of faith. Each prayer is an opportunity to recall essential values and focus on what truly matters. Salat sets the rhythm of a Muslim's day. It structures it and offers regular moments of connection with God. It's a constant reminder of the values of Islam: compassion, gratitude, generosity. These prayers regularly remind us to live in accordance with these values. And no, it's not just about asking God for things. It's much deeper than that. It's about connecting, thanking, and seeking guidance. A two-way conversation, a moment of introspection and spiritual connection. A continuous dialogue between the individual and the divine, a way to find inner peace. So, the next time you see someone unrolling their prayer mat, remember that it's much more than just a prayer. It's an act of faith, devotion, and connection. A moment of deep connection with oneself and with the divine. A moment to find peace, clarity, and the strength to face the challenges of daily life. Let's move on to another common question. Why do some Muslim women wear the hijab? It's a question that puzzles many, especially those unfamiliar with Islamic culture. The hijab, this simple piece of fabric, sparks a lot of curiosity, and sometimes even misunderstandings. It's true, we're just talking about a piece of cloth, right? But this fabric has a much deeper and more complex meaning than we might think at first glance. Well, hold on tight, because it's much deeper than that. The hijab isn't just a fashion accessory or a cultural tradition. It's loaded with symbolism and spirituality. The hijab is often seen as a symbol of oppression, something old-fashioned forced on women. This perception is largely due to stereotypes and a misunderstanding of the individual choices of Muslim women. But in reality, it's the opposite. For many women, the hijab is a source of pride and independence. It's a way of owning their identity and being true to their beliefs. It's a personal choice, an affirmation of faith and empowerment. Wearing the hijab can be a deeply personal decision, often made after careful thought and a deep understanding of one's faith. Imagine, it's like choosing to wear a 3-piece suit for a job interview. You want to project an image of professionalism and competence. You want to be judged on your skills, not your appearance. In the same way, the hijab allows women to focus on what's important. For many Muslim women, the hijab is a way to free themselves from the gaze of others and focus on what really matters: their intellect, their personality, their soul. It's a way of telling the world that they want to be recognized for who they really are, beyond appearances. It's a way of saying, hey, I'm more than just my looks. The hijab then becomes a tool of liberation, allowing women to define themselves by their actions and thoughts. And then, frankly, the hijab is also super practical. There's a very pragmatic side to wearing the hijab, which simplifies daily life. No more spending hours doing your hair in the morning. In a few minutes, you're ready to tackle the day, which can be a considerable advantage in our fast-paced modern world. You put on your hijab and bam, you're ready to conquer the world. The hijab then becomes not only a symbol of faith and modesty but also of strength and determination. For many women, it represents a balance between tradition and modernity, between spirituality and everyday life. So we get to the uncomfortable question, the one that always comes up at awkward family dinners and in questionable Facebook comments. Is Islam a violent religion? Let's take a deep breath and dive into the heart of the matter. Let's be honest, the word Islam is often associated with violence in the media. But before jumping to conclusions, it's important to remember that the media tends to focus on the sensational, the shocking, what gets viewers. The problem is that this biased representation fuels prejudice and fear. It's like judging an entire book by reading only one sentence out of context. So, let's take the time to read the whole book, okay? Let's move on to something a little lighter, but just as important, food. More specifically, why don't Muslims eat pork? Is it a matter of taste, a phobia of snouts? Well, no, it's deeper than that. Pork is forbidden in the Quran, the holy book of Islam. God has declared that pork is haram, which means it is forbidden to eat. But why, you might ask? Well, this is where it gets interesting. Besides religious reasons, there are also health concerns. Eating pork can be linked to various health problems like parasitic infections and heart disease. So, for Muslims, avoiding pork is both an act of faith and a health precaution. Let's talk about a sensitive and often misunderstood topic, the role of women in Islam. So let's be clear from the start. Islam promotes spiritual and moral equality between men and women. Yes, you heard that right. Men and women are equal before God. They have the same religious duties, the same right to education, to work, to own property. So where does this image of the oppressed and submissive Muslim woman come from? Ramadan. It's the 9th month of the Islamic calendar, and you know what that means. 30 days of fasting from dawn until dusk. Yep, you heard that right. No food, no water, not even that big iced caramel macchiato you love so much. Now, before you start thinking this is some kind of extreme Hunger Games, let me explain. Fasting during Ramadan isn't about punishing yourself. It's about looking inward, about going beyond your physical needs to connect with something bigger. Think of it as a spiritual cleansing, a detox for your soul. And trust me, it's not as impossible as it sounds. Muslims around the world wake up before dawn for a pre-fast meal called suhoor, and break their fast together at sunset with a meal called iftar. It's a time of community, of sharing, of coming together in a way that's hard to describe unless you've experienced it. Section 2, Beyond the Plate, the true meaning. Jihad. It's a word we hear a lot, and often in a negative way. But like many things in life, it's much more nuanced than that. In fact, the Arabic word jihad simply means effort or struggle. It's about pushing yourself to become better, overcoming challenges, and reaching your goals. Now I know what you're thinking. Hold on a second, Hassan. Are you saying that violent jihad doesn't exist? And the answer is, it's complicated. Like any religion, Islam has teachings about war, but they are often taken out of context. The Quran clearly states that fighting is only allowed in self-defense, when all other options have been exhausted. It's about protecting yourself, your family, and your community from harm. But here's the important point. The most important jihad, the one that is most emphasized in Islamic teachings, is the inner struggle. Picture this. Millions of people from all walks of life, all dressed in the same simple white clothes, coming together in one city. This city, Mecca, becomes the center of a spiritual journey that goes beyond borders, languages, and cultures. It's a sight to behold, a sea of people united in a common purpose and devotion. No, this isn't a scene from some dystopian sci-fi movie. It's a real event that happens every year, drawing millions of Muslims from all over the world. This is the Hajj, the yearly pilgrimage to Mecca, one of the 5 pillars of Islam. This pilgrimage isn't just a religious duty, but a deep spiritual experience that every Muslim hopes to undertake at least once in their lifetime. Every year, Muslims from all corners of the globe save up, prepare, and embark on this journey. They come from different backgrounds, speak different languages, and have different life stories, but they all share a common goal: to fulfill a sacred duty and seek spiritual renewal. This journey is as much a physical trip as it is a spiritual transformation. It's a time for reflection, repentance, and renewal. The pilgrims pray together, share their experiences, and support each other, creating a sense of community and brotherhood. They leave behind their families, their jobs, their comfortable lives, and embrace a state of humility and equality. The simple white clothes they wear symbolize purity and the letting go of worldly concerns. In this state, they stand shoulder to shoulder with their fellow Muslims, regardless of their social status or nationality, showing the true meaning of equality and unity in Islam. Now you might be wondering what's so special about walking around a big black cube? What makes this ritual so important that millions of people are willing to endure such hardships to perform it? Well, that big black cube is the Kaaba, the holiest site in Islam. It's not just a physical structure, it's a symbol of the unity of all Muslims. The Kaaba represents the house of God, and facing it during prayer signifies the unity and direction of the Muslim community. It's a focal point that brings together Muslims from all over the world, all facing the same direction, all praying to the same God. It represents the unity of all Muslims, going beyond geographical, cultural, and language barriers. This unity is a powerful reminder of the strength and togetherness of the Muslim community. All facing the same direction, all praying to the same God, they embody the essence of Islamic brotherhood and sisterhood. This act of collective worship demonstrates the unity and equality that Islam promotes. But Hajj is more than just rituals and symbolism. It's a journey that tests faith, patience, and endurance. It's about pushing oneself to the limit, both physically and mentally. The physical demands of the pilgrimage are immense, requiring strength, stamina, and resilience. Imagine spending days under the scorching desert sun, walking miles between rituals, sleeping in tents. It's a test of endurance and a display of unwavering faith. All this while surrounded by millions of people, each on their own personal journey, yet united in their devotion and purpose. Section 2, Beyond the Rituals, Finding Unity in Diversity. The Hajj is a powerful reminder of the unity and diversity within the Muslim community, a journey that brings together people from all walks of life in a shared act of faith and devotion. Okay, question number 9. Who exactly do Muslims pray to? Another god? Some weird god with lots of arms? No, friends, relax. This isn't a rap battle. There aren't 50 gods fighting over control of the universe. We're talking about the same one God, the Creator, the Almighty. The same God as Christians and Jews, you know what I mean? It's just that in Arabic we call him Allah. It's like saying God in English, Dieu in French, Dios in Spanish, you get it? Same concept, different languages. We're all talking about the same God, the one who gives out rewards. Or not, depending on how you do with your prayers. Just because we use a different word doesn't mean we're talking about a different God. Honestly, if we had to argue about every vocabulary difference between religions, we'd never be done. Just imagine. Hey, you said heaven. We say Garden of Eden. To war. No, let's be serious for a minute. Let's move on to a crucial topic. We're going to talk about food. Yeah, because who doesn't like to eat? But pay attention, we're going to talk about halal food rules. And no, it's not a trendy diet to lose weight before summer. Halal means permissible in Arabic. It's kind of like the organic label for food, but a spiritual version. It means that the food has been prepared in a certain way, according to Islamic principles. For example, the meat must come from an animal slaughtered according to a specific ritual, without unnecessary suffering. We also avoid certain products like pork, alcohol, blood. It's like a way of life, a way of consuming responsibly and ethically. So, there you have it. 10 answers to the most frequently asked questions about Islam. I hope this video has been enlightening, helped to debunk some stereotypes, and given you a better understanding of this beautiful religion. We covered topics like prayer, the hijab, food, and many more. The goal was to open a dialogue, break down taboos, and promote tolerance. Feel free to share this video with your friends and family, and continue the discussion in the comments on Islam vids. Ask your questions. We are here to answer them. And above all, never forget, knowledge is the best weapon against ignorance. So stay curious, open-minded, and see you soon for new adventures.